It was exciting. Tell us, just give me a summary of the presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much. We are actually in 2018, and this is 2 years to Vision 2020 of Nigeria. And within this, you have 240 million people going to bed hungry. When it comes to youth unemployment, you have 12 million youth getting into the labor market every year to compete for 3 million jobs. And if you take Nigeria, just in the first quarter of 2017, 1.2 million youth went into the labor market, and in the very year, the very quarter, 1.6 million youth lose their jobs. And when you combine this, it means that in an entire year, Nigeria needs to be creating 11 million jobs. How will these jobs be created? What happens is that there needs to be complementarity and synergistic action rather than working in silos. But the agriculture, which is not just a sector that is inclusive, but it's also a sector that can be able to drive transformational change, and it's a catalyst sector. But agriculture cannot function alone. With the changing climate today, we need to ensure that how you produce is not against the environment. How you produce is not adding to emissions in the atmosphere. What is produced is healthy, but also what is produced must be connected to markets and utilizing enablers like information communication technology. But for this to happen, policy is the biggest driver of change. And with that policy, regardless of what happens, the sustainability of it and also the enabling environment for uptake will not necessarily move forward. And that is the reason for the UN Environment Ecosystem-Based Adaptation for Food Security Assembly, which has been domesticated across countries in Africa, with Nigeria included. But within the proposal, there are 5 pillars. One of the pillars is to ensure that what is produced is not adding to emissions, but it's also working with the environment, that's working with nature, not against nature. The second pillar is policy harmonization, because, as I said, policy is the biggest driver of change. And if you look in Nigeria, when it comes to energy, you have the feed-in tariff policy, which mandates that 50% of energy should come from clean energy sources. If you look at the Nigeria cassava policy, cassava bread policy, it exists. And this is an incentive and opportunity to incentivize more production of cassava. When you look at the different elements, whether it is financing, you have NESA, the Nigeria Incentive Risk Sharing for Agricultural Lending. But how do we connect the dots in such a way that all these great policies speaks to one another, so that we are not duplicating efforts and making this becoming an operational risk? And that is the reason for this interagency policy task force called EBAFUSA, Nigeria Interagency Policy Task Force, so that they can look at what they are doing and synchronize the policy to ensure policy coherence, so that the climate smart agricultural policy of Nigeria should speak to the energy policy feed-in tariff, should speak to the cassava bread policy, and at the same time work with the standard organizations of Nigeria to have a common standard that become a market incentive. So what is produced in Nigeria can find a market in Kenya, can find a market in Cameroon, in Zambia, in Togo, and these will benefit from the 150 billion fresh food market that is currently on tap in the African continent today.
Thank you very much.